Hi class. Today's lesson is lesson 6-5. Let me go ahead and reveal the purpose today. It's to organize data into line plots, frequency tables, and histograms. Make sure you copy that down. Here's our first example of what we're going to be doing. And before we start the problem, however, I want to draw your attention to this frequency table. I want to make sure that you copy down the frequency table. This frequency table is called fingerprint patterns. In the first column, we have the different types of patterns: the whirl, the arch, the loop. The second column, we're going to make tally marks for however many times we see the whirl, the arch, or the loop. And then finally, the frequency column is a column which we represent an actual number that's associated with the tally marks. Frequency is how many times a given outcome occurs. Let's go ahead and get started then. Each student in Mrs. Cho's class recorded their fingerprint pattern. Which type is most common in Mrs. Cho's class? So we're going to look for the most common fingerprint pattern. Well, here's the raw data. We got whirls, loops, and arches in there. I'm going to go ahead and make tally marks for everything that we record out of this box. We got a whirl here. That's one. A loop. A loop. A loop. A loop. Then we finally get an arch. Yay. Another loop. That makes 5. A whirl, an arch, a loop. Boy, there are a lot of loops, isn't there? An arch, a loop, an arch, and a whirl. If I count how many words I see in here, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 2 is 14. I should have a total of 14 tallies here. I've got 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 7 is 14. So I've got the correct number of tallies. Now I'm going to represent each of these tallies with a number. It's frequency. So for whirls, there are 3. For arches, there are 4. And for loops, there are 7. Now what I want you to go ahead and do is draw this line, because this line is our line plot. It can be remembered because a line plot is simply a horizontal line. Line plots show measures of frequency. So we're going to use these numbers into our line plot. So let's go ahead and create, label, and fill it in. It's been filled in for me. I'm going to go ahead and drag the labels: the whirl, the arch, and the loop. I'm going to kind of spread them out here. Next, I'm going to go ahead and go to the frequency, and I'm going to pull X's here. So I've got 3 X's for the whirl. I got 4 for the arch. Each one of these X's represents exactly 1 of the fingerprints in the pattern in Mrs. Cho's class. And then we're going to go ahead with 7 students who have the loop pattern. Oops, didn't quite get that 4th one. 5, 6, 7. It's kind of important that you try to keep the X's the same size and the same spacing. I didn't do a good job of doing the spacing. That way you get an idea of the relative size compared to each other. Well, to answer the question, which type is most common in Miss Cho's class? It's obviously the loop. Let's go ahead and go to the next problem. First of all, let's look at the raw data. The raw data is in this top table. By raw data, I mean data that hasn't been manipulated into groups or manipulated by any formulas. Here we have a number of representatives per state in the U.S. House of Representatives. So we have 7, 1, 6, 4, 52, 6, 6, etc., etc., etc. All right. The table below this one is a frequency table as well, only this one is divided into intervals. Here, once again, we have the number of representatives per state in the U.S. House of Representatives, same as up here, but now the data is displayed just a little differently. For instance, here we're looking at numbers between 0 and 5 representatives. Well, let's take a look at those that have 0 to 5 representatives. Well, there's a 1. That's between 0 and 5. There's a 4, there's a 1, 2, 2. All these numbers I'm crossing of are between 0 and 5. There's a 5, a 4, a 2, another 5, a 1, a 3. And look how I'm doing. I'm doing it systematically, marking them off row by row, going down one row, and then down the other row. I'm not scattering myself. Now, if I were to count these, they should equal 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Exactly. That's where that 22 comes from. 22 between 0 and 5. And that's what they did for the rest of the intervals. 6, 11, 12 to 17, 18 to 23. What we're going to do, and what I want you to do, is I want you to copy down this table. Yes, I want you to copy down the interval table. You don't need to do this one. You can thank me later. You don't have to do the top one, but you do need to do this middle one. Also, you need to copy down this histogram. This is a graph which measures those intervals. We're going to go see how those intervals are written. There's 0 to 5 right here, 6 to 11 right here, 12 to 17 right here. That's on the horizontal axis, and then on this vertical axis we have the frequency. How many times do we find that number of representatives in that group? Now, instead of x's like we did on the line plots, we're going to go ahead and use this bar. For 0 to 5, there were 22 representatives. So I'm going to grab this, place it on top, and I'm going to stretch this so it goes to 22, which is halfway between there. That's 22, maybe a little bit more. Then for 6 to 11, it's 18. Notice what I'm doing, 18 right there. For 12 to 17, there's only 3. It's actually smaller than what I have here. Boom. From 18 to 23, there's only 4, which is pretty much that. Then we go to 24, 29. When we look at 24 to 29, we have 0. Oops, don't need a bar there at all. Let's go to 30 and 35. The number of representatives between 30 and 35, there's only 2. So let's go ahead and wave this down to 2. 36, there's 0. Don't need a bar there. 42 to 47, you can see there's 0. And finally, 48 to 53 representatives per state. There's only 1. So I got to go way down here. And that, students, is a histogram. A histogram measures things. It's like a bar graph that measures intervals. Okay. Last thing that I want you to do is to complete the problem. Here, you're going to make a frequency table and a line plot based upon the data. Here I've got the data. You're going to go ahead and make tally marks. For instance, I'll start you out just so you can see what I'm doing. With 1s, there's no 1s, no tally marks. I can put 0. For 2s, I see a 1, 2, 1 tally mark. No other 2s, so that's just a number 1. For 3s, I'm going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 3s. And at this point, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and grab X's. You're actually not going to grab X's. You're going to, oops, I can't grab an X for some reason. So I'm just going to make X's. For number 2, it's just 1X. For 3, it's 3 X's. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to go ahead and complete the rest of it. All right. Hope that helps. We'll see you in class.